Hey, how's it going, everyone? Gonna try this live again. See what's going on out there. I got the chat window open, making sure I'm live. So, anyways, let's start her off with the dollar again. We got a bounce in the futures market for gold and silver. That in a moment might be close enough to the edge that it decided to bounce finally. Anywho's the dollar. Got a reverse head and shoulders off that bottom. Nice base, nice cross over the 8, come back into support, held. And then we had the 1-2 punch right over resistance, which is a long line of resistance in around that spot there, all the way through. So let's see if we can get over the 34 on the daily. I suspect that it'll come back into support. It's a little separated from its averages now. So I think maybe it'll come back in its support level there. Never know. So S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ all got 2-bar reversals working. NASDAQ is a little worse off as it got rejected off the 8 resistance line. Dow Jones, 2-bar reversal off the top, confirming on the downside. Let's see if it'll fill that gap and bounce through off the 8. And the S&P, 2-bar reversal into support now. Just covering that gap, it looks like. A nice push out and then push all the way back in on the straight line up. Let's see if that support will hold. I got a nasty little hammer down here that could turn into a reversal bar on the downside, calling it a hanging man if it shuts down below 24.23. So we'll see what happens. That's a pretty ominous dark cloud cover there off the candlestick chart. VIX is woken up today for some odd reason. So I got 2-bar reversals on the indices, and then the VIX for the S&P has a little wake-up call after the little hammer yesterday. Coming off a double bottom. Nice spike high. So it's building inside the range here between resistance and support. Bam, 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 back and forth. Let's see if we can break outside of there this week. Looks pretty promising. And the NASDAQ got rejected by the 8. So let's see if support holds here down at 56.35. I still have a gap to fill. So let's make sure we fill the gap first. And if it fills the gap and turns, tries again across the 8, or does it just fall right on over? I got a double bottom down here. See if it'll do that. It looks like oil's having a tough time. Looks like it fell over support. Let's see if it'll double back here shortly. If it doesn't want to get back above support, through resistance back up above, then I would call this bearish. But sometimes we got to watch for that whipsaw first. Sometimes it takes a nice jolt. The reason why I say that is because that a huge reverse head and shoulders. This could be just the right shoulder just being swung down as hard as possible. You can see that reverse head and shoulders. There's a small one inside here, and then there's a big one inside here. But it sure is weak off that right shoulder so far. Always watch that right shoulder. Know where you're at on the chart. The weekly chart's See the reverse head and shoulders a little bit better. So that right shoulder is coming down as far as possible, and I anticipate it coming down quite a bit further. And you can see that trend. I would say it could reach at that spot there, and then even do a whipsaw across that line as well. Right shoulders are disastrous, shake everybody out. Let's change back to the daily. Gold, we got a reversal. Let's see on the shorter term where we got that reverse. What kind of pattern we got? Is it a bullish pattern or is this kind of weak? Looks like I got a double bottom. Higher lows throughout, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right under resistance, and then pop. And it hasn't turned back since. So we could get a nice W pattern off the bottom. That'd be nice. The confirmation of that W pattern would be about 1250. There on up. Hey, no problem, Dylan. I wish I had more subs, but you know what I'm going to do. But this just makes it easier if I do it live. Like I just turn around, press the button, put it. I don't have to do anything. It's a pain to set up, but once I'm done, I don't have to do any leg work. So it just makes it easier. So I'm glad you enjoy it. I enjoy it. So yeah, let's get above previous lows, previous highs, 1247, 1250. Break that 34. Let's do it. Got a nice, we'd call it perfect pattern, but it is a double bottom. It is an AB bottom. I wouldn't call it an AB bottom either. I would call it just a double bottom. Just stretched beyond belief is what it is. We may have to come into resistance, grab our legs again, and keep running after that. I'm not sure. But I got resistance at 1250, just right around there. Silver, same kind of pattern on that bottom. I think it's manipulated bottom there, but same on the 60-minute. Kind of manipulated. It's just amazing me. It amazes me that the gold and silver both have the same pattern on the bottom on the 60-minute intraday chart. I mean, is that possible? I guess. If it was a free market, I bet you it wouldn't be, but same kind of pattern. So on silver, I got resistance coming in all the way up into the 34 and then snap back about 1660 to 1670. So let's get in that 1670 range. Far enough above the 34, so when it comes back into the 34 for a nice buyback, we have a nice enough support. Copper. Let's see, copper on the daily. Looks like copper is going to fall over back into the channel. I don't see any reason why it won't. I got the turn. You can see the momentum dying as it's closing below the 8, which is the first sign of momentum dying. I do have higher lows, so anything could happen from here. This can be saved by the bell. It's on a tether. See that tether line there. And you can see the downward pattern there. So it's in there. It could be saved. Get above 50% of that previous candle, and I will start cheering for copper. But it's closed a couple days now below the 8, which is I don't want to be below the 8 for very long. And now I have the cross, 8 over 13. And if this stays low, if this breaks down, this 8 will cross over the 34, and we can just say sayonara until it breaks that support line, comes back into that long-term support line. We'll see. Looks like it's going to come back into the pattern. Gather its legs, try again. Let's see, gold silver ratio 75-30. Looks like it came down just a tad today. The highest I've seen it was at 83. Over in this area, what was that? 80. Let's call it 80, 83.60. So it's only $10 off the highest mark. So that's 75 ounces into 1 ounce of gold. Bitcoin's on a tear. Let's look at that 4-hour chart. So we, I don't remember where these lines are for. Oh, that's the range. 3,000 to 21 was the range from the previous measured move. We are in the second measured move from the time that we started calculating from the nice breakout. And when it reached the top, it came all the way through to the end of the range, into the measured move. The whole range was covered. Now it bounced. Now it made a previous, a reverse head and shoulders price pattern that has completed. And now I suspect it's going to come back into support. It's got lots of support beneath it. Now that it's completed the pattern, it's above the 34, 8, and 13. I'm thinking it could come down to 2650. Let's hold that 8. If it doesn't hold the 8, I got the 34 and the 13 right below it. Let's say 2600 before I get kind of shaky. And maybe it'll break down and create a false pattern, which false patterns do break down very, very hard like. So watch for that. Make support hold. That's what we got to do. We're going to make sure that support holds on this one. But nice price pattern. Broke out very nicely. I suspect that it's going to keep going to hit the previous high there. And then once it hits that previous highs, this will go back and forth, back and forth. I'm not saying it's going to shoot to 3,000. I'm saying it'll eventually get to 3,000 because of the price pattern. So once it gets to 3,000, I would watch it come back into support somewhere, wherever that 813 is, and then make a nice little U and try again. That's what I anticipate. It's a bullish pattern, and it's very nicely done. GDX. What's up, Sluggo? You got lucky, huh? Yeah, I know it's not on a regular basis. Nice. Ethereum. Yeah, I would keep that for the kiddos, you know? Just drop a couple dollars to buy some coin. I'd keep that for the kiddos for the long term. This is just getting started. I mean, the regular equity markets blow. It's so hard compared to what is going on over there. These slow moving equity markets is just, what a pain looking back. Looks like I got an accumulation phase on the 4-hour chart for GDX. I got the downfall, the distribution, and then the accumulation. What I'm looking for is a consolidation above the 8. We need a turn. Hasn't turned yet. Still waiting for GDX. It's coming into support, so let's see if we can get a turn by Friday at least. It is only Tuesday. GDXJ. Looks like that might come into support here. It's hanging on by a thread. I got that was an inverted hammer yesterday, remember? Now it's confirmed on the downside. So this just confirmed the downside momentum of falling stars. So I imagine previous low breaks, watch out below. It's going to come into support. Make sure support holds. And that's a far drop. Down into 30. That blows. Call that a confirmed rejection over the 34. Watch for previous low breaks. Look for it to come into support. Yeah, I thought we had a turn on that. Not a chance, I guess. Nugget, what's going on with Nuggets all the way down into support already. So I got distribution, accumulation. I'm looking for consolidation sideways. Let's bounce off that support first. Nice inverted hammer, almost perfect. That inverted hammer there. It's not perfect though. JNUG, nice inverted hammer, hammer. A little topsy-turvy. Let's see if we can get a turn on the upside. Confirm that hammer, confirm that inverted hammer. Let's make a run for gold. I don't know about that though. Everything else seems bearish. Anything could happen. I got the downward trend line break. It needs to get back up above support. Start consolidating. I don't see anything good about that. KLDX. All right, I'll look at that in a moment. Let's watch out below. I got previous low breaks. It's a double bottom now with a hammer showing. But I got a confirmed reversal bar here. And that was confirmed to the downside. Little falling star, turned hammer. So it's a little topsy-turvy. Let's see if the hammer holds. Who's going to win? That's the thing. I don't know. It's horrible. I don't know how long or how far. Got to keep support lines. I thought we had a winner over here. I had a bullish pattern over here on JNUG. And then a complete reversal. I got a 2-bar reversal here. I got a hammer here. Not much to show here, but it's just a higher low. I had a bullish push into the 34 there. Came all the way down into support and kind of got rejected. Had a inverted hammer here. I was excited about that inverted hammer, but then it turned down lower, making a hammer. So maybe that is the whipsaw that we've been waiting for to turn back up. I got accumulation here off the support line on Nugget. GDXJ and GDX don't look good at all. Oh no. GDX looks fine. That's distribution, accumulation, consolidation is what I'm looking for next. Look for a little bit of more of a dip into support. That long-term trend line there would have to hold. It's in the pattern. It just has to hold support. That's all I'm asking. But GDXJ, now that doesn't look good at all. Watch for previous low breaks. It does have a hammer. It does have that silly inverted hammer combo, just like JNUG. But if that breaks previous lows, it's going to come a lot further down than any one of the miners. Well, I guess JNUG's in that same boat. Yeah, that could be JNUG. That's a bearish flag into resistance, rejected. Bearish flag into resistance. Looks like a rejection coming. And same with GDXJ. The other two are at support, so I don't know what's going on. Everything's so messed up. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they are getting cheap. Yeah, I would take some slices back in whenever possible. I mean, if you think about it, long-term hold would be fine. I mean, they're going to turn. They're not going to go to zero. They are paper markets, though, so everything's a risk in this one. But if you love trading, Sluggo, let's do some Bitcoin, man. That shit's crazy. TNX. Yeah, if you can sit around and watch all day, I bet that there's going to be some nice runners, some pops coming because they're so cheap. Yeah, they've been brought back so much. The bounces are going to be nice. I do believe that. But man, how long have we been waiting? Since August, right? Last August is when the market turned bearish. Right? Yeah, last August. It's almost been a year on a downward trend. So waiting a long time. Here's a 10-year. 10-year is basing at distribution. And little bounce into resistance, popped over, popped down. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Looks like it's building. Give it a couple more days, it looks like. Higher lows throughout. Not much of a pattern, just very tightly wound up. The range gets smaller. See the range getting smaller, 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 smaller. Yeah. Well, gold's got a nice little bounce today, so let's keep it going. I got a double bottom on the 60-minute. Same as silver. So Nikkei. Look at that reversal bar right there. Very telling. Once it broke down, let it cover the gap. But that's pretty ominous reversal bar there. That's a it's a doji, and long-legged doji to the downside. So I'm just going to call it I forget the technical term for it, but I'm just going to call it a falling star doji. Just as technical as I can be. But let the gap fill on the Nikkei. Let's see if it'll recover, gather its legs, and try again. Because it did try. That might be the head fake into support. Shanghai. Still working that double bottom. Bam, 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 bam. It's building. I would be patient. Look for 3162, 64, breakout, flat top break. That'd be a nice little trade right there. Coal. Coal's got a hammer showing. It broke resistance, or it broke support, and then came back through resistance to cover a hammer. So that's very, very nice for coal. Thought that thing was just going to break down totally. But it has to confirm on the upside. Let's get it back above resistance, which was support a few days ago. Steel. Steel came back into support. Nice cup and handle forming. Let's say anything above 22, I guess. See if we can't pump into the 24 range where the 34 is sitting, right where the gap starts. If we can get inside that gap, maybe we'll round it out up. 28, that'd be a nice little bounce play for anyone watching. CLF. Just torn apart, really. Trying to find a bottom. It's got a hammer showing. See if that'll hold. Same kind of dealio. Through support back above resistance. Holding support now on a hammer. Looks like it's building. AG. AG's still in that pattern. Never broke down, but it's been going sideways forever. But now we're in a pattern. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So Break outside that pattern, make a trade. It's coming into support. So far, we got a little bounce on AG. And one thing I noticed right now, it didn't come all the way back into the support line. So if this turns around and starts to really get steam rolling, I would say anything above 8, I'd say that this is double bullish because it missed the mark. It had enough momentum to come back before the support line, which my support line really sucks though. So let's make this right. So if we get a turn here, that means it didn't take the natural course of return into support lines. This would be easier to find it on a long-term chart. Just looks like a bounce to me. Let's see if we can cover our bases, get a double back by the end of the week. All the way up into the 8 range. Let's close above 8 before Friday, and I'd say I'm changing my opinion on this bad boy, AG. From watch out below to let's get this thing running. Yeah, AG's awesome. I wish something would crack. Something's got to give. AG had the huge run. That's why we're paying attention to AG. That was the best runner last bullish market. Once it broke down, it really didn't break down like everything else. It kind of had it slid down a little bit, but it went sideways forever. Everything else took another leg down. So once this gets pumping on the upside, we have to watch out. USLV just being pumped down to the support again. Looks like a little gap down too. Man, they're tearing these things apart. Look at that long. This is just horrible. So far, I got a higher low with a spinning top. Spinning tops don't mean anything on the bottoms though. Spinning tops are meant to be on the tops. If you see a spinning top on the bottom, it could be a continuation. So be aware of that. 1141. Watch out below. I just think they're just diluting the hell out of these things, and it's just ridiculous. How many contracts are they going to sell before they let the thing run? It's always the question I have, always, on everything I ever trade. Someone's holding a big bag of chips, and they won't let it run. They just want to sell, sell, sell. As many as they can. NAK, let's clean this bad boy up. Let's hold support. Looks like a gap down today. Hit support, went into resistance, got rejected, and gapped into support. So that support line has to hold. That double bottom has to hold. Or we might see another leg down. So watch out for NAK. Was bullish on it a week ago, I think. Now it's all of a sudden bearish. URA, I think we were looking at this yesterday, thinking it was bearish, and so far it's broken down and recovered back into resistance. That is a bearish retracement. So watch out below on that. UAC, we had an inverted hammer yesterday. Looks like it gapped up and closed in. Or it closed down here, right? So then it opened all the way up here and closed all the way in. So this inverted hammer is still in play. It hasn't confirmed down to the downside. Has not confirmed. Yes, I do agree that NAK is a beast. Yes. But watch out below for a minute or two. Let it take a leg down if it has to. URRE, I told you to watch out below on this one yesterday or a couple days ago. And it looks like it broke down handily. Now we're having a retracement back in. This could just end up in being a left shoulder head and then bounce right shoulder. It's the typical A, B bottom where they take the A down far and then they take that B even further, slingshotting it. So far so good. We got a bounce off it today, making a double bottom. So maybe there is some hope for URRE. Apple got rejected off the 8. Here comes the 8 crossing over the 34. A rejection. That's a rejection. Looks like it closed 50% of the previous candle, so anything could happen here. I don't know what I would do. Actually, the best trade you can have is when it breaks down and then comes back in. That's your bearish retracement. Bearish retracement. The only thing I'm worried about is its closing momentum base above the previous candle. If this starts to slide tomorrow, I would take a short call and just boom. I mean, seriously though, look how straight up and down these things are. It's so retarded. Plus the, oh no, that was Amazon. Never mind. I do have support at previous highs, 132, 100. So it's not going to be a devastating hit. A $10 short call, I mean, that could happen. But this thing's so straight up and down. I mean, forever. I don't know. Looks bearish on the daily. I'll just keep it at that. Bearish retrace, rejection today. You guys are writing too fast. I can't keep up, but there was one up here I wanted to keep track of, KLDX. Let's look at Google for just a moment. Looks like a rejection off of that 8 as well. KLDX. Convex Mines. I'm not sure if I have this in my watch list, so I'll have to write this down so I can keep track of this. That does look bullish. Simon. You're absolutely right about that. I got a reverse head and shoulders. The pop across came in. Nice hammer. Confirm that hammer. Bam. Right into the 34. Held support. Inverted hammer over support. Watch the flat top break. That's a nice call. Nice bullishness. Watch the flat top break all over 371, the previous high. And what are we looking at? Let's see. That's another thing you have to worry about is this is only a daily chart, so keep it to the daily terms for holding. I would say this previous low over here is probably your 390. If we can get over 390, breaking into this range, I think that's your best bet. So watch 390 above, anything above 4. Hold 4. Well, that's going to be a nice flat top break over that. You might get a nice pop over 4, hold 4. That is nice. 431. KLDX. Is my chart not up to date? 431. 331, I think you mean. Right? If you caught 431, you're in the hole. I think you mean okay, DLX had some good news. Awesome. I think you caught it down in here. I imagine that's what you meant. Yes, all right, 331. You're right. It's like 431. What? You're bearish? All right. What was it? There was one more. Someone asked. HE. Oh, I thought there was another request. That's all. Hold on. PVG. Was that a request? No. All right, let's look at it anyways. Pentium Resources. Okay. Make sure I got the right one. I got a triple bottom showing on the daily. Trying to hold support on previous lows. The higher lows coming in. Let's see how we close. Always look for those reversal bars. It's a nice reversal bar, but the wick's not long enough. I'm gonna have to say it's bearish because it broke down and it's kind of got that rounding top into resistance. So watch out below as it comes into support. That's what I got to say about PVG. XRP. Yeah, uranium blows right now. Even though with all the war talk. Uranium always runs when the war is on. Not these time. So you see what I mean on PVG? The breakdown, the bearish retracement back into resistance, and it's got that little rounded top right here. And so it's going to roll over. And plus the 8's crossing over the 13. I would watch out below if it crosses that triple bottom there. So if you got enough tolerance, let it come into support. Got plenty of support on that line there. Plus it's in that, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter inside that pattern. The upward trend and the downward trend, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just hold support. I always gotta hold support. XRP. Was that it? Are you talking about Ripple? Johnny Ringo? XRP. I don't see a, I guess it has to be Ripple. Let's do it. Ripple. Now, Ripple's not a decentralized blockchain. This is a government created, I believe. Ripple's got a futures contract on BitMEX. That means you can short it, right? On BitMEX? That'd be awesome. Let's do the Tether. No. Let's do regular Bitcoin. All right, Ripple it is. Bingo. It is an inside job in it. All right, so this is Ripple. Ripple's not decentralized. Bitcoin on the blockchain is decentralized. It's got many, many computers around the world, as far as I can explain it. But this one does not. It is centralized. It is another banker-centric trying to manage everything around it. I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. I think it's in competition to the SWIFT clearinghouse, where you write a check, and the Western banking system uses SWIFT. So when you clear a check, it goes through this system called SWIFT around the world on the Western banking system. Well, this XRP is supposed to be a competitor to that, or it's trying to replace it, something like that. Crazy. Yes, very much faster. I mean, when you're standing around waiting for a wire from the bank or any kind of one of those stupid things, clearing real estate, you know, transferring money. This is in direct competition to the, but the only problem is it's a banker creation. So just be careful of that. I like to trade it because I know it's a banker thing, and when I do trade it, it feels like I'm stealing money from that damn banker. Anyways, I caught this bottom recently. I caught the support line, and I did catch a few ticks on that rise on XRP. That's a daily chart. It's a 1 minute chart. This thing moves a lot of coin. Nice hammers forming on the 1 minute chart. Hour chart's bouncing off support. Watch that support line. When the bankers are pumping this, though, I mean, it runs pretty nicely. It's got to hold. It's got to hold support on that 60-minute chart. That's the one I would be watching. Hang on a minute. I gotta. Too many messages going on. I got one more I can't find. Yeah, watch that support line. I'm still in BCN, and I should have taken a. I was hoping for a breakout here. It's since I've been talking, it's broken down. This thing's got to recover really fast, so I'm going to dump it. Ethereum, let's just look at that. Ethereum broke down. That's a bearish retrace into resistance. One of two things can happen. It's going to break previous lows, or it's going to consolidate. I think that's just a 60-minute chart. I think they're just swinging that down pretty rash. Although on the daily, I got lower highs continuously. I got the close below the 8, and that's when I called it a day on this one, and it slammed down, and the bearish retrace. I'm thinking it's going to come back into support. It broke that line of support there. It's going to have to come down into the 10 mark or down into the 8 mark. One more to go. BTS, same thing. Close below the 8, too long. Momentum dies, it turns over. I do have a long line of support down here at 9.1. Let's call it 9. And then, hang on a second. I got messages coming in. I don't know where it's coming from. VIA. Someone's requesting VIA on the Bitcoin exchange, cryptocurrency. Damn! Look at that. Sitting here talking, and I don't get to trade when I'm talking. Looks like 3 hours ago, it broke 5758, and just bam. Gotta love these things, man. Now let's just look at a long-term chart and see where that really is. Slam-a-dam-a-ding-dong, look at that. Broke previous highs all the way up. It's making new highs. So what do we got? We got measured moves coming in. Let's just call it there just to be safe. So measured move is in at 13. Wait a minute. That's what I'm talking about, Bitcoin. All of a sudden you get 100% gains and just out of nowhere. Yeah, someone said 10 times where it's at now. It's at 100 billion, a whole market cap for Bitcoin and everything else. 100 billion. Someone said 10 times that at the end of the year. So if you're not trading these things, you're crazy. This shit's off the hook. And they're easy to trade. They trade like free market. So put some money into Coinbase, transfer that money out of Coinbase because you do not want to leave it in Coinbase. Transfer it over to one of these exchanges. I'm using Poloniex. The charts on Poloniex suck. But you can get TradeView to get you a real-time market on these 24/7, by the way. You can trade on the weekends, Sunday night when you got nothing to do. Something's popping. Always something's popping. But anyways, I got to go. I got to go meet somebody right now. You guys are awesome. There's only 8 people watching, but I got a whole bunch of comments, and I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, so anyways, throw it into Poloniex. If you need help figuring out Poloniex, the charts on Poloniex suck. All right, I wish they would just get rid of it because it's taking up a lot of data feed. But put some money into Coinbase, transfer it over to Poloniex, and start trading these bad boys. I started with $100, man. Just have some fun. If you don't know what you're doing, don't risk everything. Never, ever put everything all in one. These things do trade very volatile. If you don't know what you're doing, you will lose your money. But just everything that I talk about here is reversal, 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 price pattern, price pattern, price pattern, previous high breaks, previous low supports. Easy peasy. I'll see you guys. I really, really appreciate you guys. Yeah, thank you, Sluggo. You've been around forever, and I thank you for that as well. It's like one of the original OGs. I'll see you guys.